Hello, welcome to another Catholic reflection. Two in one day. What we're going to talk about in this stream is going to be reflecting on Matt Fradd's recent announcement that he will be joining the Daily Wire, and I'm kind of curious to see how this will unfold over the course of time. This is definitely very interesting, to say the least. My first initial thoughts weren't the same as others. I actually enjoy the content of Michael Knowles. I think that Michael Knowles does an extraordinary job of bringing certain Catholic political and social, content. And I listen to Knowles every day. If he does a speech at a university, I'm listening to it. If he gives a talk, before a committee or anything else, if I'm aware of it, he's a guest on a show, he does these interviews, I just enjoy listening to him. I think it would be very fun to actually sit down with Knowles at some point. He seems like the kind of person I could be friends with and share a cigar with. So knowing that Matt Fradd would be joining an organization that houses someone like Knowles, I think it could be a really good thing for Matt. Obviously, those people who have concerns, I think, as Matt says, give me an opportunity to address those concerns. We'll see what happens, but I'm really excited about it. He said, that's really cool. I know some people are thinking, is this going to be another instance of Crowder or Owens or Cooper? Not all relationships that we have seen that have been built by the Daily Wire over the course of the last few years have always worked out just right. But to be fair, I think that the Daily Wire has probably learned from those experiences. I look back on, say, the Crowder contract negotiations, and a certain amount of funds were going to come from the YouTube channel, but his YouTube channel was being demonetized, so that was going to be, kind of frustration to him. Plus, Crowder comes off to me as a person who really needs to have a certain level of control over certain things. Not necessarily having to do certain ads, not having to do, have, I don't know. He works well within what he's doing, and so I could see how something like that. But like with Matt, he doesn't like doing the day-to-day stuff. I think he likes the conversations, and the fact that he could pick his own guests, have full editorial control, that he can take Pints with Aquinas with him wherever he goes. Like if he leaves, for example, Matt's a smart guy. He read the contract, and I'm sure he has the intellect, he has the prayer life to, and an incredible wife to bounce off ideas, with. So, if this is something that he wants to explore and has already agreed to, and see how it unfolds, I have to trust Matt for his own judgments. if he found the contract to be very fitting, and I don't know if he'll be able to retain his present employees. Maybe that was a package deal, but it sounds like Matt's going to get a lot more help. Um, he's going to get promoted, no doubt, on the different shows that take place. I remember, for example, when Owens was part of the Daily Wire, or Brett Cooper was part of the Daily Wire. Michael Knowles would talk about and their shows and recommend them and do ads for them and stuff. So this could be a way that people can who might listen to Knowles or somebody else get a little extra exposure to the Catholic side of things, which apparently seems to be exactly what the Daily Wire intends. I'm not quite sure exactly how the Daily Wire stands to benefit. Um, I don't know that. I'm sure that Matt has asked all the questions. He's an intelligent guy. Before he signed his name, I'm sure that he read thoroughly. He expressed concerns about what about this line, what about that line, what about how this is worded, asked all those sorts of questions, and gave himself months to reflect on it even. Um, do I think that Daily Wire association with Pints with Aquinas will hurt his brand? I personally don't think so. Like I said, I listen to Knowles all the time. Every now and then I'll see a clip by Matt Walsh or what have you, but mostly I came and remain for Knowles. He's great. Do I think Matt's gonna lose out in potentially reaching more left leaning kind of folks? And I've watched Pints with Aquinas for a long time, and I could say I don't see how it would appeal to a cafeteria Catholic or a Catholic who doesn't believe in the real presence, that Christ is really, truly, and substantially present. You know, I don't really see those kinds of folks who just kind of want to create their own style or brand of Catholicism, and, like, personalized to their own life, and you know, but yet love AOC and stuff like that. I don't really see people who call themselves Catholics who uh, think or believe like that having really any interest in someone like Matt Fradd, who is very orthodox. He loves the beauty of the Eastern rites and the Latin Mass and everything else. So I don't really think it's going to lessen his exposure. Excuse me, lessen his exposure. In fact, I think it's going to. The whole idea is to potentially grow it, so that people can find Christ in the Catholic Church. And if that can be accomplished, because I kept asking myself, Pints with Aquinas, like on YouTube, for example, anybody could watch it. Anybody who could ever think of watching it has access to it. Whether it's also on locals or Spotify or anywhere else. How can the Daily Wire give him more exposure other than just advertising him through the other speakers? Because I think of these conversations that take place, what do they call it now? Crossfire, or they used to call it backroom, or maybe they still do that. And they're almost exclusively talking about politics. I don't know how Matt will ever be able to sit in a room with, 5 other guys smoking cigars, just talking about politics and being involved in those conversations without just being the fifth wheel in the room who just sits back and just listens and maybe speaks up on some moral point or something like that. But um, I'm not quite sure. But, over the years, he's obviously has developed a relationship with Knowles. He's had dialogues with him, videos with him. Um, I would certainly like to see more conversations between Knowles and Matt. I think that this is going to be interesting. We'll see how it unfolds. Um, Matt has my full confidence. So I think Matt's going to make good decisions in relation to all this. Um, it doesn't hurt my um, view of him at all. His content is still going to be free. His content's still going to be what it is. We're just going to get more of it. I have wondered though, like in the contract though, but this is like Matt's thing. He can decide what he wants to do. Um, a certain amount of episodes per year, or something like that. If he's contracted to do a certain amount of hours or a certain amount of shows, or how that'll work out. I know, like and this has been my guess, like if Knowles wants to go on a week vacation, he's kind of preparing for the week off so that there's content that can be rolled out while he's gone, kind of thing. Uh, there's ways of making that work, But what's really nice, like right now, if Matt wants to just not do anything for, like, create new content for 3 months, like if he wanted to go to Croatia or Ukraine or wherever, would he have the same kind of freedom to be able to just do whatever he wanted in this regard? Or would there always be this, well, I gotta keep creating the hours of content even if he might not feel like doing it? But I guess that's what it's like having a job too. If you're going to have a job or something that you do, so I'm kind of curious. Like, I've never read a contract proposal that has come out of, like, after Jeremy Boring left, what kind of contracts are being proposed and things like that. But ultimately, I think people who like Pints with Aquinas, they're still going to like Pints with Aquinas. If someone says, well, I'm definitely not going to watch Matt Fradd now because, I don't like Ben Shapiro or something. I don't like this one thing he said this one time, and I don't want anything to do with the Daily Wire. And if he's associating with them, it's like, no. Treat Matt Fradd like Matt Fradd, despite of what you may or may not feel about the Daily Wire. Just plain and simple. You support Matt Fradd. You could do it directly. I don't know if there's anything in the contract that says that you can't have a Patreon now, or you can't have a Locals account, or they get 20% of anything that comes through any of that. I don't know the contract. All I know is that if you want to continue to watch Matt Fradd, if you want to continue to support Matt Fradd, do that. You can do that. So that's pretty much all I have to say about that subject. Just trust Matt. His discernment process. This might not even be like a thing that's in place for 10 years. Maybe this is just a 6-month, year kind of let's trial run. I don't know how long the contract is for, but or what it even includes, especially since he has full control. He can pick his own guests. You know, he can pick his own content, continue to doing what he's doing, can take it with him where he goes. Let us just help you. You know, he wants to see what that help looks like. You know, through experience, not just on paper. So, you know, let him do that. I think it could be fine. I don't think we should be concerned because of issues they may have had with other people in the past. Owens looks like she's kind of gone off the deep end, so I think it's fair not to put a lot of blame on the Daily Wire for where she's at today, or and even with the negotiations with Crowder, I think that Crowder would always just be best doing his own thing, having absolute full control over every single aspect of it, and you know, Cooper left of her own volition. Obviously, the comment section was something, I think it was started by Daily Wire, you know, and then they put a different host in, you know. I have no idea. I don't think they finished their Snow White project or anything, but kind of makes me wish I knew what kind of happened there, because I was kind of interested in what they were going to do with that, even if it wasn't a full movie, just like a short or something. I think that could have been neat, but sometimes there may be like internal conflicts that can occur, and I'm a very 100% transparent, you know, kind of guy. I probably wouldn't get associated with anything where, you know, there weren't any like non-disclosure agreements and things like that where, you know, if I was associated with the Daily Wire, I couldn't be completely and fully transparent down to the core of, this is what bothered me, this is why I left, you know, kind of thing. We don't get that from her, and that's not the kind of person I am. It might be the kind of person that she is, but she's not giving us anything. And I still hold in my mind, is it because she's going to be sued to the nose if she says anything, you know? Or maybe she thinks that it's some form of detraction to just share her experiences publicly about something like that. Maybe personal conflicts she may have had. But unfortunately, that can't be used as a case as to think about such things. But I think the Daily Wire, for the most part, you know, every now and then it runs into some kind of controversy, you know. The Owens thing didn't work out very well. I mean, look where she is now, you know. Everything's a big conspiracy. And so I covered I think Owens may have been with the Daily Wire at the time when I watched an interview about anti-Semitism. Sorry, speech issues. And whether or not that term could be redefined or manifest itself differently in different things. But Matt isn't any of these people. There have been people like Michael Knowles. They become part of the Daily Wire. They do extraordinarily well, and I don't have any issues at all. But I know that Matt Fradd is a person of very strong convictions. Very strong convictions. If he doesn't like something, he's going to tell you. You know, I kind of wish that I was more like that. I have a tendency not to want to hurt people's feelings, you know, but he's just, you know, if he doesn't like his office set up this way, yeah, I don't like this. You know, he's just going to be honest about it. He's not going to like suffer forward. So Matt doesn't come across to me as the kind of person who is going to deal with nonsense, and I don't think he would put himself into a position to lose or to have to suffer forward on something. So I think he's probably asking all the right questions. I trust Matt for all of that stuff. He's grown an incredible YouTube channel, you know, over the years, and I think he knows what he's doing. So, with all of that, thanks for watching. I hope that was helpful. Those are my thoughts on Matt Fradd joining the Daily Wire.